So welcome back to another video in this capture response series. In this video, we are going to learn about the capture response backend. Okay. Yeah. So we'll start with opening the service package, which is Pega MPT container. And so just select rule service rest in the service type. And if you scroll down, you can find the capture response repo. Just open it. Okay. And in the capture response, you can see that its primary page is response service page of class into Pega CDH container. Okay. So, and if you go to the methods tab under the post method, you will find an activity and whatever the request which is coming as input payload, that will be mapped to dot request property. So that means the input request, whatever we have sent, right, as part of capture response. So will be mapped under the property called as dot request on the page response service page. So response service page dot request will have the input payload data. Okay. Now let us quickly open this handle capture response before activity and navigate to step number 2. Okay. Activity we have handle capture response v3. Okay. And so in this we have step number 7. I'm discussing only the important things which you have to understand as part of capture response. Now in the step number 3, we have something called as a capture response and initiate offer activity. Okay. So in this, we have something called, in the step number 5, we have the capture response activity. Open the capture response. Okay. Yeah. So from here, let us discuss in depth. So whatever the request which we have received, in which we have a property called ranked results, right? So the data present in the ranked results will be converted or will be mapped into another page called IH supporting info pg.px results. Okay. So first we are creating a new page. Okay. And then, so here we are, here we are calling a data transform called capture response data. So let us quickly open it. In this capture response data, yeah, let it get open. Okay, it finally opened. In this data transform, we can see that in the third step, we are copying the data from ranked results to IH supporting info pg.px results. So whatever you pass as part of ranked results, that will be copied to IH supporting info pg.px results. And it has some out of the box mapping over here. And this is a final rule. Suppose you introduce a new property, and if you want to map it to IH supporting info pg.px results, at that time you can use this extension data transform called set additional properties. Yeah, we will discuss more about this data transform in the next video. So in the next video, we will discuss how to add a new property to the request payload of capture response and the same data, how we will be pushing, how we will push the record to IH with the newly created property, etc. We will discuss about that in our next video. Okay, so once this is executed, then we have step number 6. Step number 5 is for paid media conversion actually. And so in this, we'll have something called a queue processor that will be executing with a standard processor. And that queue processor will be dealing with the paid media conversion. For now, it is actually not required for now. Don't worry about this. And finally, the step number 6 will execute capture interaction. Okay. So this is a very important activity. So here in the step number 4, a data flow gets executed. In this data flow, the actual processing happens. Okay. So the entire data which we have transformed, right? So we have converted the uh, dot request dot IH supporting info PG. Sorry. So whatever the ranked results we are having, we have converted the ranked results to IH supporting info pg.px results, correct? So whatever the data we are formed so far, the data will be writing into DF process response by doing some logic in between. Okay. So let me go to the documentation. So in this documentation, I have explained the entire process, what happens from end to end when the request comes to the capture response service. So let us start. Okay. So let us understand the capture response service by better taking an example data. So this is a request data. So consider this is the data which we are having. So in this request data, you can see it is for subject ID 14, and so we got the capture response for two ranked results. That means for the two offers we got with the same interaction ID. Okay, so the PY subject ID is same, interaction ID is also the same, and subject type is also the same. So the subject type will be derived from the context name. Okay. So what are the two different offers for which uh, we are sending the capture response request? One is standard card, another one is rewards card. And outcome for both the records will have impression. Okay. So now here I have given the path in which all the activities get executed. This we already discussed. Okay. So in the capture response, the data transform. Okay. So we have seen that whatever the ranked results we are having, all the ranked results will be converted to IH supporting info pg.px results, right? So it's basically IH supporting info pg, right? So you can see clearly that in the PX results of one, we have the rewards card with PX interaction ID, rank as 2, and PY outcome as impression. Okay. And in the second result, you can see that we have standard card and PY group as trade cards, PY outcome as impression. Okay. So this is how the data will be copied from ranked results to IH supporting info pg.px. So once that is done, the capture interaction activity will call the DF capture interaction data flow. And in this DF capture interaction data flow, the entire core logic will happen, and that I have documented it very clearly. So this data flow is having, let me explain by opening the data flow itself. So this data flow is having the source as abstract and destination as data flow. So since it has abstract source, we can call it as a single phase processing. That means this data flow will execute on the top level page. In our case, the top level page will be the page of the service, which is nothing but response service page. So on the response service page, the DF capture interaction, which is present in @ base plus gets executed. Okay, perfect. You can see clearly. And next we have a decision strategy. Okay, now let me double click on this decision strategy. In this decision strategy is executed in the mode called as make decision. That means this decision strategy just executes and propagates the results. We can see in the strategy outputs we have individually all results and output all the properties. So that means whatever the result of this particular strategy, those results will be propagated to the further components. Now what is present inside this strategy? Let us quickly open this and see it. All right. So in this strategy, the first one is a data import component. In this data import component, the data present in IH supporting info pg.px results is imported. So that means whatever the ranked results we are having, we have mapped that to IH supporting info pg.px results, right? So that data gets imported. And the second component is a group by component. In this group by component, we are grouping the entire data based upon subject ID, subject type, and interaction ID. So Now let us take example with our scenario. So in our scenario, we have two records in IH supporting info pg.ph results. Now after this strategy getting executed, capture interaction history strategy gets executed, we will have only one record. Okay, why we will have only one record? Because in the group by we have subject ID, subject type, and interaction ID. So for both the offers, subject ID, subject type, and interaction ID is the same. So that is why we will have only one record result of this particular strategy. Okay. And for all other remaining properties, the first record properties will be copied. Okay. So let's take an example. In our case, the first record is reward start, right? And the second record is standard point, correct? Now, after the group by component, so you can see there will be only one record coming out of the strategy. You can see clearly py subject type is Qbank CDH data customer, interaction ID, and the subject ID is 14. These three are common. And for the remaining other properties, the data from the first record, which is reward card, will be copied. You can see the py name is reward card, user agent, py group, py propensity, outcome is impression. PX obj class is CDH-SR. Device type is desktop. PX rank 2 and PY issue is grow. Okay. So this is how the record will be outputted from the group by component. Okay. Now, as you know, this strategy is called with a mode called make decision, and it is in the strategy outputs we have selected individually all results. Okay. So that is why every record which is outputted from the decision strategy will go to the next component. So we have only one record in our use case. So in the next component, which is convert, in this convert, we are converting the CDH-SR data, right? So because this is, I think in this decision strategy, let me quickly open the decision strategy and let us quickly verify the SR class of this. So in the strategy properties, what is the class it is? So we have the data-px strategy result. So yeah, so basically the data-px strategy result will be converted to CDH hyphen, okay, data hyphen CDH capture response hyphen SR. Okay, and all the properties with the same name will be auto copied. Okay, and next one is another decision strategy we are calling in the data flow, and the name of it is capture interaction history. Okay, and this strategy is running in a mode called capture response for previous decision by interaction area. What does that mean? Okay, so that means in this decision strategy, we are trying to capture the response of the previous decision which we have made, okay, by the interaction ID. So we will pass the interaction ID, okay, as input parameter. Now, this Pega, what it does, it will try to browse by keys on the PX decision results dataset with this PX interaction ID, which we have passed as input parameter, and it will browse all the results. Now, all these results will be passed as input to this decision strategy. So when I open this decision strategy, you will find an external input. Okay. Now, through this external input, the result of browse by keys operation on the PX decision results by passing this PX interaction ID will be input from this external input. Okay. Now, if I go back to this first decision strategy, right? This decision strategy doesn't contain any external input. Okay. So this decision strategy will be executed on the primary page itself. Now, what is our primary page? Our primary page is my response page, or I mean, there is something called response service page, right? So the same page will be the primary page of this strategy. Okay. So in this, we don't have any external input because we do not receive any data from the external input. But whereas for this particular strategy, we receive the data from the external input, okay, from the strategy component only. So how? Because we are passing PX interaction ID. So now Pega will try to get the data from PX decision results by browsing with PX interaction ID, and the same data will be passed to this external input. Okay. Now in this strategy, what we are doing, so whatever the data which we receive as part of the external input, we are joining the data with the IH supporting info pg.px results again. So this is our IH supporting info pg.px results, right? And we are joining the data with the external input based upon these conditions. You remember in our previous video, we have seen some fields which are very important in order to match the data from PX decision results and the input data. What are those? Subject ID, subject type, rank, interaction ID, issue group, and name. So these are the important attributes. Okay. Now in this embedded strategy, what we are doing, suppose if there is any record which is matched, okay. So here we have an extension strategy which is used to map the records, map the properties which are new. That means which are not already present in the PX decision results. So which are very new, which are coming as part of the capture response service. Okay. So this we will be discussing in our next video again. Don't worry about this, but we have a extension data transform over here. And here we have a set property, so which will try to add few out of the box properties like POA operator, work ID, category. So these kind of values we are trying to set on the IH info page. So here you can clearly see, sorry, not IH info page. So this embedded strategy, if you observe, this embedded strategy is iterating over IH supporting info pg.px results and with an alias name of IH info. Okay. And in this set property, so Pega is actually setting few out of the box properties. I will tell you one example. So you can see py outcome is equal to IH info.py outcome. Now, what is this IH info? It is nothing but the IH supporting info pg.px results of current, right? And so in that particular record, we have py outcome. The same value we are setting it to py outcome of SR property. Perfect. So similarly, if we take IP address, so here we have an expression. Suppose if the IP address is being received as part of the capture response request, okay, so yeah, it is opening. Okay, so if IHInfo.IP address is equal to null, then we will be setting the IP address from the SR, the current property from the PX decision results itself. Otherwise, we will take the data from IHInfo.IP address. So here IHInfo is nothing but the data present in IH supporting info pg.px results or nothing but the data which we have sent as part of capture response. Okay. Here we have a switch component. For example, if there is no match, okay, if so in this we have an conditions, right? So we have many conditions. So if there is no match for all the records present in IH supporting info pg.px results, at that time, what will happen? So here we are importing the IH supporting info pg.px results in this data import component. Okay. And then here we are matching it with the current interaction. So as you know, in the previous components, we have grouped all the interactions, right? So that means we will have only one interaction ID. For every interaction ID, this strategy gets executed, correct? So we are copying with that particular interaction ID. You can clearly see that. So we have py subject ID, subject type, and px interaction ID. So with these three attributes only, we have done the group by component in our first strategy. So that is why we are mapping the data, whether we are trying to focus on the current subject ID, subject type, and current interaction ID. We are getting only those records from this IH supporting info pg.px results, and we are setting those to results. Okay. Suppose if there is any matching, so then we are copying the data from this particular IH to the results component. The switch component does the same. So let me quickly open the switch component. So here you can clearly see that IH.px interaction ID greater than 0, then select the IH. Now what is IH? So IH is nothing but this embedded strategy. Okay. So now the results of this component will be going to DF process response. And again, this is the out of the box data flow, which is final again. This will take care of writing the data to process interaction history and other things like updating the adaptive models, updating many other things. You can see there are many other things which are happening as part of DF process response. So yeah, all the things will happen over here. So let me quickly open process interaction history. So just uh, in this, you can clearly see that the GOS behavioral limit strategy getting executed, which will take care of executing the contact policy. So if there is any contact policy executed and we have to suppress that particular action, then the data will be returned to action insights too. In parallel, the data will also be returned to interaction history as well. Okay. So I have given the entire detailed explanation in this particular document. So I will be attaching the document link in the description of this particular video. So I hope you understood what the backend things of this capture response service. Okay. So now, once this capture interaction is executed, let me quickly close everything. Okay. So yeah. So in this capture interaction, so we have executed this particular data flow and it is doing the exception handling vagera. And yeah, once this data flow is executed, it will come back to over here. Okay. So once the capture interaction is completed, then it is trying to set the response. Okay. And let us go back to this references of this capture response. Since I have closed everything, let me select the references. Okay. So here we have this capture response and initiate offer. This is the one which it is calling in the capture response service. So yeah. So after once this is getting executed, then we have step number 6. So in this step number 6, you can see if the paid channels are not enabled, then the skip we are jumping to skip a paid. Okay. So in the step number 10. And in the step number 10, here we have a precondition, which is actually checking whether dot request dot process offer is equal to initiate. So in our case, we are not initiating this offer. So we'll have a detailed session of about what is offer initiation, and this activity will be exited. So since we don't have that initiate value, right? Okay. So now, so this activity is being called in capture response initiate v3, right? So this is where we came. And finally, handle capture response v3. So in this, we have executed this and it is doing some exception handling. And finally, the main activity, which is handle capture response v4, which is being called in our service REST rule. Okay. So I hope you understood the background process, what it is actually happening. Okay. So please try to go through the documentation. I will try to provide the link in the description. Yeah. So see you in the next video. So in the next video, we will try to understand how to extend or how to send additional properties in the capture response request. So see you in the next video. Thank you.